I don't hate that pick. They're very, very squishy on VP.
Okay.
It's a playmaker. Like, that's really, really what they need. They needed a playmaker, and he's going to have a lot of armor as the game goes on as well. Once he's able to get those grow points, which is nice versus the Shadow Fiend right clicks. Can have some issues, of course, once Ransibs gets the Aghanim Shard for the pure damage, and Maelstrom's still going to be an issue. But this is really, whatever it was for XM, it just had to be someone that was able to get very active early on, look to get pickoffs and make the space for the Terrorblade, and the Tiny definitely fulfills that role.
To me, this still comes down to execution, though, right? As all games do. But, like, for Virtus.Pro, like I was saying, I feel like they're going to commit a good amount of mangoes, for example, onto both the Marcy and the Visage, just to consistently go for these kills onto the Terrorblade to slow down the Terrorblade's timing. And for Tiny, if he's looking to be that big space creator, does he get the early Blink Dagger, and what does he do with it, more importantly? Like, are you able to actually connect and get multiple kills, which leads into towers with the Terrorblade helping you out to open up the map? Because if you don't do that, then you start to fall behind incredibly quickly.
Yeah, that's the big issue. Like, I feel like if you can get to that later stages, then TB... Do you feel like he can do it? Do you feel like this Terrorblade is going to be able to, at the late game, win it for Vici Gaming, or do they even still have the answers for him?
See, the thing is, most of the time I would say yes, but Marcy kind of breaks the game in that you just give essentially half a Satanic and, you know, a Sacred Relic in terms of damage over to your carry and yourself. And we've seen the way that Yamich likes to build. He goes this greedy style. Oh, what is this? What is this all chat going on? Round 3 fight. Frisk, question mark. I love it, I love it. Who do you think, you're much of a fan of pro wrestling?
I never really got into it, but I'm not a...
So the good guys are called faces and the bad guys are called heels. Who do you think's which in this one?
I don't want to say who's good and bad. You can say it.
It's theater, you know? I think that it's all in good fun, this sort of stuff. You would have to say it's probably VP who are the heels in this game, to be honest. You know, a lot of the banter starts from them. Much more of the all chat is coming from them as well. So we'll see who wins at the end of the day. Who's going to have that title belt at the end of this series, as they're looking to try and get the mental game starting with the early 5-man smoke to place down some of those super deep wards, kind of play Vici's own game that they showed against them in game number 1. Just have complete understanding of a lot of these rotations coming through. I think they saw that observer ward placed down if they were looking on the map, the Radiant mid observer ward. So we'll see if they were on point on Vici and if they do end up passing a sentry over. Yang's got one, but of course you need to make sure that you're manipulating the lane to not go too deep into this Marcy Visage lineup, like I was saying before. Oh, what's up?
Oh, XM missed his block. So, I mean, it's already never fun versus Shadow Fiend being a melee hero. So have fun against the Razors and have fun with the creepy equilibrium. Oh, I guess it's going to be shoved out relatively easy. So you see this full wave's going to be free for GPK though.
Mm-hmm. You've got the Mango on the Marcy already, and he almost had a second one coming up, but ended up switching up for the Fairy Fire. So it's very clear to me what they're looking to go for. Even DM, just they know that they're going to be spamming out a lot of these abilities. What are we chuckling about?
Gee, I said free lane, GPK missed 2 losses.
Okay.
So you can just blame it on the right click damage from the Shadow Fiend.
And the Caster Curse.
Sure, you can blame me somehow as well. I'll get looped in. With his bottom lane here for Vici Gaming with the double melee, what are we looking out of this for Vici? Are we going to expect some pulls coming out of Frisk to maybe get to that level 3 stage on the Primal Beast, and then maybe they can look to get aggressive, or can they actually lean into this early on?
I think it just depends on who hits the level 2 a little bit quicker. It seems like VAB.
Ooh, DM finds first blood. Yamich and DM combined together. The Soul Assumption.
Yep.
Was enough to pick up first blood. It's been Vici Gaming in both game 1 and game 2 finding the first blood, but this time it'll be VP.
It's pretty important as well for DM. Like, he didn't actually buy any regen to be able to start this game. He's only just ferried the tangos over to himself, and he went all on into the stats. +5 attributes from the Iron Branches and the completed Magic Wand. You know that a TB is going to be spamming out that reflection off cooldown, essentially. So with that, it means that he was able to just be a little bit tankier. He's actually got 1 armor now instead of 0. Big big bonus for the Visage, and it means you're able to make those slightly more aggressive plays with one of the best laners in the game in the Marcy.
It's going to be scary here shortly, though, with the level 2s. Yang hasn't skilled his up just yet. They don't have the greatest position with the creep equilibrium, though. That's kind of the biggest concern at the moment here. Once they use that next meta, they will definitely have potential to find a kill up top, but you need kind of the full distance of the lane to move in. In fact, it's going to be VP that jump first. See if the Frost Shield's going to help out Erica enough. Won't mitigate the damage from the Soul Assumption. It's going to be able to step out to the north side. Erica will be okay. Does take a lot of damage, though.
Yeah, they've got plenty of regen, though. He's going to pop his own salve. Yang, he's got a salve of his own, as well as the Tango. Yamich just doing his best to try and interrupt it, or maybe even go for a kill onto the Lich here. He TP'd back relatively recently, but you got to make sure that if you're going to commit spells like this, you actually secure the kill. Like, DM is out of mana. He can't continue to go for this, and Erica realizes it. It's just such a delicate game, Dota, isn't it? You miss out on a couple of these kills, you commit all of your mana, and then suddenly you can't do what you truly want, which is to consistently go for kills. He's finished up the Ring of Basilius, at least, on DM, so again, they realize that this lane is heavily focused on a lot of those trades, trying to get some harassment out.
Frisk. Almost getting solo killed from Yakoda.
He's got
the case, so let's send him pack him.
No, he doesn't. I'm also looking to see from Yang. I think he's done a pretty good job of it so far, but most of the time when you're a Lich on this top side of the map, you want to be spamming out the Frost Blast. It's pretty effective in terms of what you're able to do in terms of trades for the lane, but you got to make sure that you're not just giving free Soul Assumption stacks. BAB should be fine. They weren't able to stop this pull from happening, though, on Vici, but Erica is probably going to be pretty thankful for that. He wants those early levels. He wants to be able to get a little bit ahead. And if you're just using this this hard camp to be able to assist with that, then well, big win coming through from Vici. Ramsey's having a great time up top, though, as they go for another kill attempt, but they're going to bait out the Frost Shield. Maybe they're going to look to turn around now. It's just about finding that right time.
It's also very important, though, for VP with how they're continuing to maintain the lane at the front of the tower. They're getting the bonus region coming out, the extra armor as well. And again, like Visage, you're a strong cure at level 1, but throughout the other levels inside the lane, you're not the greatest at all. And if Dire had the full distance of the lane to play with, like this is where you need to pull it back now for the next meta, they could definitely find a kill. But Virtus.Pro have done such an incredible job to maintain the position of the lane.
It's going to be fixed now, though. They pulled the small camp, which was double stacked, so they're going to be able to influence the lane a little bit further towards their side, even if it means Yamich taking a few of these right clicks from the full creep wave. Yang just not quite able to get that pull off there. Might have secured the range creep, but just not quite. Raindrops, will that save him?
Like the case of the moment, second point in the Soul Assumption. Plenty of burst damage for Virtus.Pro to find their second kill. Off to a great start, Yamich. Even tipping Erica. Not helping out too much. Meanwhile, bottom lane, BAB is going to end up going down as well. Ramses and Yakoda getting a big kill into the Primal Beast. This is someone who, if you can slow down his early game, off to an incredible start. Well, back up to the other lane we go. Top is Erica. By himself. He's just baiting, though. Fairy Fire along with the one charges, just hoping Yamich sticks around. Gonna try and duck into the tree. Shield damage, but it's not gonna be enough as Yamich will be okay for the moment. Don't re-enter. In fact, Yamich, he jumps for Erica. Oh no, that's not the target. Erica has got the raindrops herself as well, and now with the easy kill onto Marcy, they might even consider about DM, but the Visage will be okay.
Yeah, love the adaptation coming through there from Vici, realizing, look, we're going to be copping a lot of this harassment, a lot of this Soul Assumption spam. He's even committed a second point into it, which a lot of Visages don't tend to do. They just look to stick with the one and look to amp up their survivability, but they know how important it is to try and kill this TB, so that raindrops on both him as well as the Lich is going to do wonders for their laning stage. Yang, once again, getting the pull off, bringing it back safer, closer to the tower, so that a lot of those kill attempts might result in a turnaround. Man, Ramses is bodying this bottom lane.
Yeah. See, Vici Gaming had to rotate first to try and secure the power rune. XM does get the double damage rune, but great read from GPK. Not going to put himself in a position where Vici Gaming will be able to catch him out off guard. Again, you really need to look to play with the Tiny to help him off to a good start. And with this DD, we might see a rotation out of him. You can see an angle into one of the side lanes.
Yeah, they Potentially look to go for BAB. Wonder if they're going to try and lock them off here with the Fissure on the bottom side of the map. BAB should be able to get back to safety with the second use of that uproar.
They've got Rupture now on Ramses, though. So this is really going to be an issue for how BAB is going to be able to play the lane. I wonder if VP are going to look to dive. They've got a full wave.
He's being very cautious with how exactly he's positioning here. Of course, don't want to give up a free death when you've got this siege creep wave.
Oh, do they block him off? The Fissure, no, it's not perfect. Another glimpse away as well. At least it does get the max amount of damage coming up from the combination, but it means that Ramses is free through the team fight. BAB's going to attempt the TP out, and the Enchanter will cover the retreat. And while top lane, some more brawling going on as well. As Yao mentioned, DM will be able to bring down Yang. The support Lich is not having the funnest time. 3 deaths already here for the captain.
It's not why you picked it, though. It's more about once we get into the middle stages, right? You just think about the damage reduction it's going to provide against the Familiars, against the Marcy with the Unleash popped, with all those right clicks coming through from the Bloodseeker. So it's just all going to be around that Frost Shield, because there's no way that you could stand close enough, I think, to get the Sinister Gaze or the Frost Blast off.
XM together, looking to try and protect their wards. Bottom lane though, Ramses in a little bit of trouble. This is a big kill if they can find it. Vici Gaming, beautifully done. Seeing that Ramses was alone without Yakota nearby, who is going to die in the river. But Yamich with the wraparound, blocking the avenue for XM to escape. Great positioning coming through from the Marcy. He's also going to be able to provide GPK that bonus damage to continue to chase down Yang. Another kill given over to Virtus.Pro and Denog. They've got some big Shadow finishes. Look at the net worth disparison from GPK and the Tiny. This is a great start for the mid laner.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe just with the presence of the Dark Lord, obviously you don't want to be pushing out the lane, but even if you look to potentially go into that one against the Tiny super early on, 0 armor could have given even more havoc, but yeah, we're just seeing here Tiny, especially in the mid lane, not one of those heroes that recovers all that well. It's all based on the snowball, so unless XM is able to get a little bit more assistance, then, well, he might be just looking to make some plays around this this chainmail timing to finish up the phase boots and connect onto, let's say, the Terrorblades lane. Push that one out, get kills onto the Visage, take away some of their tower taking strength, and maybe try and open up the map a little bit.
Oh, they're going to smoke, but I think it was underneath the Radiant Observer ward. Yamich whistles as well. They know exactly where they're going to look to path. Ramses will probably clear this last wave down bottom and TP out, unless they actually want to bring another person down with a TP, and they'll do that.
They're ready.
GPK, he's got the Requiem, but they're ready.
They know,
though. Pro, we're 3 against 4. This is not an easy skirmish, so they need to even bring the Marcy down. Dakota drops the ward. XM's going to be able to face check, but the combination out, but the damage should be enough to get the kill onto Yakota. So they've started the fight off successfully, but let's see if they can continue that on for more. As Eric is even going to show up as well with the Metamorphosis, and all of a sudden Virtus.Pro, they're completely surrounded. GPK lands the Requiem, sending Vici Gaming packing, but the damage, that's the thing in question, because all of a sudden VP, they're committed for the team fight. They knew exactly what was going on, but they don't have the answers as Vici Gaming.
Oh, he's just standing still.
Beautifully done, and GPK, he recognizes there's no escape. He TP'd in, and that is exactly what XM needed to bring himself back into this early game.
Oh, you just saw on the camera as well, he was a little bit more concerned with, all right, how's my posture, then how am I going to try and get anything out of this? It's, Dota's a mental game as well, and you got to make sure in these high-pressure situations that you don't let it get to you.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Well,
that's huge.
Still a net worth advantage over to VP and DM. He wasn't part of that. He was continuing to push up onto the top side. No damage into the tower up on the top, but I mean, for XM in particular, that is an enormous rotation. We're even going to pop the Unleash here, seeing if Yamich wants to just start dealing a little bit more of that right-click damage into the tower with the assistance of the Siege Creep, and he'll be able to back off once he sees the Frost Shield and once he knows that XM is available with that Avalanche Toss combo once more.
With a quick update with Virtus.Pro's itemization, we see that GPK, he's gone the Boots of Travel route. He had the Blink queued up previously as well. Looking like it might be the magic damage build out of the Shadow Fiend.
I mean, yeah. You want a good amount of magic to be able to get through what's eventually really good armor topside.
Top lane, Frisk. I set up Yarmich along with
done.
DM in the tree line. Frisk has got the rest of the boys moving over, so he's going to drop the Echo Slam. Not doing a whole lot of damage, but Frisk is still alive, and BAB. Look at the charge in directly on top of DM. The Frost Shield as well for good measure. There'll be no escape. Yarmich short. Meanwhile, mid lane though, XM's in some trouble. Yang's gonna try TP in another person, living on a slither of health. No way, XM survives, but Ramses, he's looking for the cleanup. The rupture into the blood right should be able to do enough required. You know, outstay his welcome. Very nice movement coming through from Ramses. Just looking for the cleanup. At least another person doesn't live on just a minimal amount of health.
And they get the mid tier 1 tower, so
Has fallen.
this Boots of Travel is going to be even more effective now for GPK, able to just walk around a lot of these lanes. You've got much more safety to be able to park yourself here on either one of the supports, or, you know, Ramses with that Maelstrom, he could very easily go into the jungle. This is a really early timing on it as well, for him to have picked that one up and start to explode his own net worth. Still though, not dying on Frisk means that they're able to give him a lane. He doesn't lose a lot of that unreliable gold.
Dire's bottom
He's going
tower is under
straight
attack.
into the Blink Dagger, not worried about the Aghanim Shard. He realizes that they're going to reach this timing and they just want to run at them, and he wants to have the best response available for that.
Great positioning. Great position from Yarmich. Acting as a bodyguard of DM's location. Visage will be able to step out to the left side. And we do see at the moment though, like this is potentially one thing as the game goes like really later and later, that Virtus.Pro, they are not going to have the capability like Vici have with their initiation. Dire are going to have double blink, and maybe this is where like GPK's build comes into play, and where potentially with a really farm master he can help out as well, but you will not have that instant jump like it looks like Vici are going to have.
Yeah, for sure, but I feel like they're just going to hit their timing so much sooner. I mean, have a look at it across the board. You are about 1.5.
Oh boy, that's a killer combo. Glimpse into Record, Static Storm getting laid down.
And instantly the high ground's being pinged, saying, hey, they got vision here. We got to make sure that we're staying away from this area. Pretty greedy to be sitting up here when they don't have the tier 1 tower to be able to play around with some of those TPs. But I mean, that just gets them closer to those timings that I was saying, right? Just the recipe away from the BKB for GPK. Same sort of deal for Ramses, essentially. You've got the Wraith Pact on DM. And I mean, the supports, they're eventually going to get their items, but those are the big three. They want to be playing around a lot of the space that they've created on the map, and they don't have the Glyph of Fortification for the top side. So with the sidekick being layered in onto the familiars, these towers really start to melt.
Now Frisk, under the cover of the Invis, is scouting out Ramses. They have awarded the jungle, so they also see Erica starting to step on over, but no one else will be able to join to maybe make the attempt onto the Bloodseeker. Remember your point before, you're 100% right. Like Virtus.Pro, if they hit their timings, they're fine with a lineup that doesn't have this instant jump. But that's the concern. They don't get that timing, and if we have an even late game, then I think that is a slight advantage that Vici might be playing with.
I mean, it's pretty close, though. You have a look at some of the Vici items as well. Very close to picking up the Yasha on Erica. Very close to picking up the BKB on, the Blink Dagger on the Tiny. Same sort of thing with Frisk on his Earthshaker.
It's a very late Blink Dagger timing, though, from XM. You're unable to get some kills. Yep, that's the thing. If you do not get kills once this Blink is completed, then your next round of items is going to continue to come out later and later.
Oh, has to be careful.
Yeah, they might be able to wrap around on XM. DM's going to do a really good job for the second familiar stun, maybe? At least push him into the tree line so it's not that direct route back to the tower, and it gives enough time for Virtus.Pro to be able to move over. Again, the glint from Yakoda drags him back, and VP get another kill.
Yep, I much prefer that. Just keeping vision of him, making sure the Disruptor was the one rotating through.
Mid lane Ramses, they know that everyone showed top. They're going to try and get a quick kill before the rotations come out, and with a burst damage from BAB, they'll be successful at that.
Alright, really nice pick off there. He's ready to want to go back in. Just with all that damage potential that he's got, just another 5 or so seconds until he's able to re-engage.
They can go. 2 heroes are showing top. Like again, Virtus.Pro. They're trying to do 2 streams across the map at the same time.
Yang,
The Fish is going to make it a bit awkward, and Yang, well, let's have BAB to potentially take the tower. You need to get rid of the aggro. Oh no, they didn't do it.
There we go. He's like, thanks for the killing spree, my man. But in the meantime, they're able to take this top tower. So yeah, I really don't feel like Hakoda's feeling too sore about all that.
Not at all.
There's that blink reveal.
Look for the jump. They've got the Wraith Pack though for a little bit of time. Dim's just going to look for the straight TP out. Great read out of the Visage.
Oh, the value of TPs this game has never been higher. Buy TP stock right now.
Look at that. Like, they get those kills mid, but Vici Gaming aren't able to capitalize and take the tower because Erica's showing top, and that's really your tower sieger. They don't get much usage out of the catapult, so this T1 still left standing.
How close are we to picking up some of these next items? Ramses, he's agonizingly close to being able to get that BKB and really plant their flag towards the top side. No tier 1 tower mid for both team now, but no tier 2 up top side for Vici Gaming. That's the more important target, especially against this pretty heavy committal, right? You dive in on the Primal Beast, you use your Avatos combo on the Tiny, you want to be able to reset with the Aegis, with the second life. If they could get the AB, that'd be big.
He's got first standing off to the right side. Glimpse in the Rupture combo.
Perfect.
Extra damage. Bit of a streak as well for Ramses to claim, and they're going to be thinking about Roshan. They're starting to move towards that direction. They got the... Oh, yeah. They got... Should have helped. The help of the Wraith Pack, that extra damage, they'll probably be able to find it.
Yeah, I mean, they can't do anything. They got the sidekick. You probably don't even need to pop the Unleash for this one on Yamich, who, I mean, he's going to eventually scale on his own. Going first item BKB. I much prefer Marcy's that look to scale like this. Gone are the days, in my mind, of the Aether Lenses. Frisk, can he make a big play?
Frisk is coming, he's going to find an angle! But the instant static storm, Dakota stops him intercepting Virtus.Pro, but the Chain Frost is bouncing back and forth. The damage is enough to at least get the Bloodseeker, but Vici Gaming unable to claim the Aegis. The static storm from Dakota was perfect. Frisk did not have an opportunity to use the chain control, and now they can chase down Yang as well. Looking to step on out, escaping the grasp of Virtus.Pro, but he will not survive the attempt.
Man, we like to talk about Yamich and GPK in those previous games, but Hakoda once again coming through with his Disruptor and really showing why it is so heavily prioritized in the Eastern European region. He was just on point with his positioning, catching out the smoke, and then that instant use of it as soon as the jump in happens. Great use of the Requiem of Souls as well, just to guarantee that there's that damage output coming through. Really did end up winning them the team fight. Big smiles coming through for Ramses. I've never seen someone so happy after they just died.
Very true. He sees his team as a 3,000 net worth lead, and he's going to be happy with that. But someone else who's pretty happy across the map is Erica. Second in net worth, is really having a good game. Flawless so far as the Terrorblade. Just living his own little world. Manta, Dragonlance, working on the BKB as his next item.
Going into the Aghanim Scepter here on the Primal Beast, so he just wants that little bit of extra damage, but the break as well could be very effective against the Visage in particular, if you just want to burst him down at the very start of a team fight. DM at the moment is just itemizing purely for his own survivability with the heavy magic resistance, with the Wraith Pact. You don't have the greatest heroes to be able to deal with that little skull pulsing around in the middle of these team fights.
Frisk positioning. Actually catch DM. Been on forward, XM's nearby as well. Looks like they're not going to go to the triangle though. They've got this bottom lane that's getting shoved out, so Virtus.Pro eyes towards the objectives, looking to try and claim this last tier 1 tower.
Just see how ballsy GPK likes to play.
Yeah,
as soon as he's got the Aegis, just blinking forward onto the enemy high ground without any kind of vision, right? You're up against high ground ward, and well, GPK TP's out right on the edge of it, so they didn't even see this one. He did BKB back in the base though, so not everyone's perfect. Just testing if it works.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. Are they even going to continue on here, Virtus.Pro?
Yeah, popping the pipe, making sure that that magic damage isn't going to come through, and Yamich even looking to commit the Unleash to make sure that this tower goes down.
Yeah, not the greatest ultimate, yeah, from Yang.
You know, pro players are human too, you know, sometimes they pop their BKB, sometimes they whiff on an ulti.
Sometimes they potentially die to familiar, so that's a bit too deep for Virtus.Pro. If you get the kill on Yamish, you got to tip him back. They're being so aggressive with the tips, but Vici will not be able to follow outside the base here, so a free tier 2 tower is going to get claimed. Virtus.Pro continuing to get map control in this game 3.
Really feels like that lane was set up for success from the very beginning. A lot of the times you see Visage tend to be around 6 on net worth, even though his impact doesn't feel that way. But this game, we talked about it, if you don't have that really good start on the Tiny, if you're not looking to snowball, then things do start to become very, very difficult.
Frisk. Again, just a fissure on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Playing with this ward, it's going to reveal the positioning of it now.
And even just TP'd out on XM before he was quite full mana as well, so won't have the capability to take a prolonged team fight. He's actually looking to go into some of that damage that could be just volleyed in from the trees because he doesn't feel confident putting himself on the front lines. Really does feel like it's going to be all on the back of BAB just to be able to bait out some of this early engagements. But the downside is, even if he pops the BKB, you've still got the Rupture from Ramses, so it's a very difficult task for him. All tier 2 towers are gone now.
Great read from Virtus.Pro, just recognizing how far ahead they are with this Aegis. 40 seconds left. Arcane Rune was picked up from GPK as well, so they want to fight. And now without any objectives to force an engagement, they're going to look to smoke and try and get Vici Gaming once they're outside the map.
They see them next to this Observer Ward as well. XM and BAB, they'll be the prime targets.
No, 2 cores. BAB will pop a BKB. And off to the right side. Well, they're going to be able to escape, it looks like. In the meantime, actually, XM stuck on the high ground. An awkward position for the Tiny to be in.
Oh, Hakoda's going to live.
Oh, Hakoda lives and he also cancels the TP. BAB wants to kill. He's trying to find him for the polarize, but he won't be able to do so. Hakoda gives him a tip. Won't be able to get the kill. Dancing shoes are on for the Disruptor. Both cores go down for Vici Gaming.
A little disappointed in Hakoda. He's got the master tier, and he isn't spamming the "they're trying to kill me" emote. I absolutely love that one. It's the best voice line in the entire game.
He's maybe they're just using up all their tips early on. Then when the tips are gone, you know, the voice lines start coming out.
True, true.
But you gotta savor the tips though. You gotta keep them late game as well. Who knows if see GPK? Well, there's one tip down. Who knows what Ramses did?
He didn't pop his BKB, did he? No, never mind. He's got a halberd finished up for himself, though.
It's a pretty good item against the Terrorblade, a hero that really needs the right click. Halberd's going to be quite an issue, and I wonder when Rams is going to consider about the Aghanim Shard. Potentially with the lead they have at the moment, you could just look to get it off the second Roche.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the much more confident way to be able to go about things, and he's just itemizing purely for attack speed right now, going into the Mjolnir as his next item. You could potentially look to get away with the Gleipnir a lot of the time as the Bloodseeker, considering the additional mana pool does help with how much you want to be spamming out your abilities. But for this game, attack speed against that super high armor coming through from the TB, it's going to do wonders. They're really close to
this has to be a big team fight. Vici Gaming, the game is starting to slip out of their grasp here in Game 3. They need to win this fight.
If they can pick off
wait
DM,
to make it to the late game.
That'd be great, but just look at the positioning. They're putting him as far back as they can, making sure that he is never going to be the one that gets gone on first. As long as he can come in, drop the Wraith pack,
pops.
Drop the pipe.
Hakoda, he's going to move on forward with the Glimmer Cape. Fissures off the mark and Frisk jumps in. GPK's got an opportunity to try and pop the BKB along with the Requiem. The damage it's not there as Erica is going to try and stand his ground, but the Terrorblade, it just doesn't have the items to be able to combat Virtus.Pro. As Vici Gaming, they need to reevaluate if they can continue on with the team fight. They're trying to target down Yamage, but they won't even get the kill. They'll turn to DM instead, but again, the Visage, no one's dying on Virtus.Pro. The Wraith Pack keeping them alive, but finally, Visage will go down and Vici need more. They bought back. Can they get anything more out of it though? It looks like that will not be the case as VP duck into the tree line and TP out.
Ended up getting a lot of that gold. It looks like it was mostly on the Terrorblade. 810 gold obtained from that fight. That's good. I mean, you are the sole reason why Vici are still in this game. Just have a look at the difference between Erica's net worth and then the next person on his team. All of these buybacks being frequently used. Tiny only getting 8 kill involvements so far in the first 26 minutes, and it was just really solid positioning coming through there. DM super far on the backlines, gets all of those auras off. Sure, you lose Hakoda pretty early on, but he drops all of his spells. He's done his job.
GPK, they're going to go for the Lich instead. With all of Virtus.Pro being nearby, they won't be able to catch up the Shadow Fiend while he was trying to pick up the double damage rune.
Oh, perfect timing for Roshan as well for VP. Potentially, if it is 0 seconds, 40, not too bad. They can still look to play around the area. They've got the vision control. They've got no towers to be able to play with, and it's just become nighttime as well. So it's realistically only this tiny little area around the dire triangle that Vici feel comfortable to play with. And I mean, they know when Roshan's potentially going to be coming up, so there's no real point for them being there. They're going to make this movement out as a team, but not with the Tiny just yet. At least he's picked up the Aghanim Scepter for himself, so he's going to shove out the lane. If he can get into a nice little clump of trees, potentially influence that Roshan fight, but that's got to be their last chance, right? They need to take this fight around a set enclosed area. Chain Frost, Echo Slam, Primal Beast right in the center of things, and all the trees coming in as well could potentially influence this game for Vici, but well, Roshan spawned and they know that it's happening.
So what happened last time with the Roche fight from Vici Gaming? They were just able to get there fast enough.
They smoked under the vision. They know it's coming.
They push on forward, trying to pop the smoke, but Roche is falling. They need to get in. Look at the Static Storm, just trying to push them back. Ramses pops an early BKB. They will be able to secure Roshan, but can they win the team fight afterwards? As GPK into the middle of the team fight, they've been able to blow up the Lich, but meanwhile BAB is going to turn to Ramses, the Bloodseeker, playing with half health, and the tree ball is not enough to secure the kills. It's Vici Gaming, they're in shambles. They need to retreat, but can they cut their losses? A glimpse back onto Erica. It's forced to stand his ground with the man to BKB, but they'll completely kite the TB, forcing a BKB TPR, and he will make it.
I mean, they're always just so quickly able to get off that Requiem because of GPK having the Arcane Blink as well, so it's just these small things. When you're panicking, you make the mistakes. They pop the smoke just a little bit too early with the one creep still remaining in that mid lane before making the attempt, but they know how quickly VP are going to be able to take that objective, and well, they got what they were looking for. They got the Aghanim Shard off the Roshan. They've already picked up the Hyperstone as well, so Ramses, he's able to output a sickening amount of damage. There we go, just the positioning, just the team fight disruption, quickly picking off the Lich. Oh, back live though, Yamich. It's going to be another Chain Frost that doesn't perfectly connect. Will at least push them back from the high ground without having to use the glyph, so little things going their way, but it's still a 12k net worth lead. You're still up against that Aegis, and Ramses, he's only just finished up the Mjolnir as well, so his damage output's just increased even further.
This game feels like it's getting further and further out of grasp here for Vici.
I mean, it's going to get even worse, right? Like, you've got the BKB almost completed for Yamich, so we saw how he was able to play forward, pop the smoke, and still get away. Once he's got the BKB, he's going to be even more fearless.
Very cool. Marcy, level 15. BKB can start solo killing heroes as a support. Fun to watch. You've even got, like you mentioned, Arcane Blink and almost Hex completed on Shadowfiend, so these items are continuing to be picked up here for Virtus.Pro, and just looking to see what's next for Vici Gaming. They need time, but I don't think they're going to get it.
Yeah, every single time Marcy's picked. It's only been in 13 games now, I believe. It wins 2/3 of the time. So one of the higher win rate heroes. And, well, they had an interesting strategy on on Vici, letting it through in the draft, but you just saw how quickly VP were able to snatch that one up, and for good reason.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Virtus.Pro. Smoke off from them. They're showing Ramses in the lane. It's going to look to TP down. Erica's still staying to try and get the tower. They're going to see Ramses in the tree lane. What's the call?
Ramses is kind of on
They
his own
actually
here.
might turn. Ramses, yeah, he doesn't have the boys just yet. And now after getting the Aegis kill, they're like, all right, I'm out, peace. Aegis gone, let's TP up. Meanwhile, over to Yang. Well, he's the sacrifice. He's the one that's making space. He was the one that was acting as a blockade almost to stop the rest of the team going to Ramses. So that's a bit of a victory there for Vici Gaming. You get the T2 tower, you get the Aegis. Yes, it is meta on cooldown for 120 seconds, so Virtus.Pro still will be able to control a lot of the map here.
Yeah, but they'll be incredibly happy with this one, though. Just able to consistently now perhaps play around that area. Man, GPK is just getting the best items possible as well. He's got the ceremonial robe, so a lot of that additional magic damage able to come out. He's almost finished up the Scythe of Vice as well, so even something like the Terrorblade is going to melt in a lot of these engagements. I wonder if he considers going for... I know you're a spell damage type, but could he consider a Revenant's Brooch this game? Like, if it does get that late, you've gone very int heavy, so wouldn't be too bad against the high armor of the Terrorblade.
We'll see. I'm intrigued. For me, this is my first at least Shadowfiend magic game that we've gotten so far. I know there's been a couple of them over in the other streams, but at least the ones that we've casted has just been the right-click Shadow Fiend. So I'm excited to see what GPK looks to go for after this Hex.
It's so deceptive, right, with the Arcane Blink. You see him blink and then the razors come out before you expect the animation to end.
Yeah.
So a lot of these players that rely on the old cast animations can feel a little bit silly when it doesn't end up working that way.
There we go. Hex completed. So your potential just to be able to jump in and blow up one here before a fight breaks out, before they know what has truly happened. It's going to be very scary now. Vici Gaming, they need to consider about maybe some defensive items. So the Scepter's been worked on from BAB. Yang's even going for a Lotus Orb as well. There we go, actually. Scepter now completed. So we'll see what this can do. I mean, there are a lot of passives that he can break in this game. I mean, you mentioned the Visage earlier on, being able to kind of help out with blowing him up, but even just the Bloodseeker Thirst and the little bit of minus armor on the Shadow Fiend that can help out the damage from Ramses. So see if this is really going to impact the fights here from Vici Gaming.
They're getting some net worth though. Like you were saying before, they've just picked up that big item on the Primal Beast. They've claimed the outpost. They don't have a tier 2 to be able to play around on Virtus.Pro on the bottom side. And now it looks like they might be trying to clump together with that freshly picked up Glimmer Cape and go for a big play. If they can win this fight, they might be back into this game, especially with the Crystallis as well, finished up by XM, but it's going to need to be all in on this one. Perfect Echo Slam would need to come from Frisk. They might be assuming that VP are going to come to them. Never mind. They make a play, and they seem to know exactly where this movement is happening.
Frisk has been the star before. We'll see if he can do it again. Like you said, it has to be a big Echo Slam. Made some incredible plays in the past, incredible plays in this series as well, but we have something. Ash.
Great read by VP. They just back up onto their high ground, right? They're like, you know what? We've got the vision, but we're not going to get baited into this. We know that the push is eventually coming. And then, yeah, you can see on the minimap as well, just push out these other lanes. They're going to have to defend against us. Our push is better. All you've got is a Terrorblade.
Both sides with these wards placed down bottom, it's a lot of information. Like Vici Gaming is setting up for a pick-off when someone's trying to deal with the illusion push, and well, for Virtus.Pro, this lane ward, kind of the remnant of the tier 2 towers, trying to scout out whenever the Terrorblade's setting up for that. So see both sides kind of thinking about the same thing here, what can occur down bottom.
Yeah, they see them. Coda making sure not to reveal himself on the lane. Keep his presence unknown, but never mind. Creepwave walks up onto the high ground, isn't going to scout him out. So now they know that the Disruptor came all the way back, and they might have even got a glimpse that he doesn't have a TP. So there's no way for him to get back up to the top side really quickly. Do they sweep across the map, trying to get them out to catch them out while they're trying to rejoin their team? Well, it looks like for now Yang tried to go for the lane cut, but wasn't able to do it because he popped the Glimmer Cape, and the creeps were like, hey, where'd that Lich go?
Wonder when it's going to be time here for Virtus.Pro. I guess with Roche spotting up shortly, they don't need to pretty much worry about reclaiming bottom. Because we see this is a lot of farm that's been given over to Vici Gaming. Like XM's even slowly, it's going to take quite some time, needs some team fights to catch up, but he will be doing some damage in fights as long as he's near some trees.
He is, but I feel like Virtus.Pro, they're comfortable at basically all stages of the game. It's completely up to them whether they want to wait for Roshan or if they want to end it right now. Obviously, they've got the advantage, and I think they just don't want to let Vici back into this game, because when you think about it, when it gets super late, VP have got basically the answers across the board. Marcy could scale to be a core like we've seen Yamich do in game number 2. Disruptor halfway towards the Aghanim Scepter, nearly got an Ags on DM as well. Shadow Fiend, Magic Burst, it's always going to be there, and Bloodseeker with that percentage damage from the Blood Rage is just going to be a consistent worry.
Oh no, Yang, you can't get scouted out. This is a really important reserve ward. They're going to see him. They see Yang, so they should know vision that they could play with. GPK is going to jump in. They're onto the Terrorblade, but the damage is not enough. Glimmer Cape protecting Erica for the moment. They will turn to blow up BAB regardless, though. DM's damage with the familiars. Oh my.
Yeah, that plus the sidekick, it just does a little bit too much. And, well, they're going to continue to play around this Roche pit. Vici, they'll have about a 15-second window when Roshan's up, and they still don't have BAB. They really don't want to expend the buyback on him. He's drifted far too low on the net worth, and, well, at least in the meantime, Erica, he's able to take the mid-tier 2 tower. I mean,
they have to go back.
They do indeed. And they will.
Erica?
Blink toss.
Requiem still? Play's gonna be. They'll pop the Lincolns, Fisher with a tree volley. Frisky's in as well with the Echo Slam, but where's the damage?
So low.
Erica's off to the right side. They don't kill GPK. And now Virtus.Pro, they've shown up. Looking to try and clean up some of the members of Vici game, but Yang will slow them down.
Oh, that was so
Does
close.
Yang live? They still have the ward behind in the lane, so they know exactly that Vici Gaming are looking for the reset here. Playing for the fake back, DM gets the kill for the Millions once again. They've got the outpost control to be able to TP2. Yamich in the tree line, forced to BKB, will be able to slip away, reconnecting with the team. Both sides have incredible vision for this fight.
They're just baiting they're waiting out the metamorphosis. They have complete vision of Erica. They're saying, look, quarter duration, let's wait for it to be a couple of seconds and then maybe make a re-engagement happen. That was so close to being able to take out that Shadow Fiend. He wouldn't have had the buyback at the time as well. Could have been the avenue for Vici to come back into this one, but they'll know that Roshan has respawned. It's available with the Aghanim's Blessing this time around. Pretty value. I mean, you got on the magic damage Shadow Fiend. I think you'd be incredibly happy if you're able to pick that one up for free. Erica, though, keeping the pressure on this bottom side of the map. He's got his own break in addition to BAB.
Radiant structures are fortified.
How's Frisk's position going to be?
Yeah, Hex is up shortly. Let's see if GPK goes for the solo kill. Oh, he's going to go for Frisk instead. A kill into the TP out. Another TP's inside the base. No one's TPing in though. They want the Aegis. They want all the Roche components. So what do we got? Chakotay gets given over a free Aghanim Scepter. Oh no, that is huge now for VP in these fights.
Okay. So I wonder what he's going to go next. Like, is he going to look to turn that point boost to perhaps into an Octarine core? Or is it just about the stats for now and it's an additional bonus that he wasn't expecting? Well, there we go. He actually ends up getting a Blink Dagger. If it ends up going late enough, of course, that minus, that cooldown reduction is going to be even more of an issue. They smoked underneath the ward, though.
Ward.
Yeah.
This ward. Well, DM with a freshly picked up Scepter, trying to catch up. Vici Gaming on the retreat to the triangle. This bottom ward in the lane is giving them so much on Virtus.Pro.
They're playing it right, though, on Vici. They saw them smoke underneath their own observer ward that was eventually dewarded, so they're just playing in one of the only places that they feel safe on the map right now, which is around their own triangle. Again, it's not the highest priority for VP to play with. Actually, it kind of is, right? Because there's no Roshan to play with anymore, and you kind of want to catch someone out where they feel like they've got an essence of safety.
GPK is under the observer ward at the moment.
Oh, yes.
They're trying to make their way all the way over to the triangle. No one's behind the Shadow Fiend. If they get the jump, they might be able to bring him down.
How good
It's
are they
a
at
big
reading?
kill for Vici Gaming to find that was set up prior thanks to Yang's observer placement. Look at the read as well with the scan. They know exactly where he is. Smoke's gonna pop. It doesn't get the BKB off Frisk. No hesitation with the Echo Slam. It's a big kill for Vici Gaming to find.
No buyback at all. DM immediately going for that mid lane, wanting to push it out as quickly as possible. Just using those familiars. God damn, that damage is strong. Just immediately able to wipe out that wave. But, well, I think Vici, they're just wanting to full-on commit onto one lane. Maybe they can afford to bring one person back, and that's going to be XM's job. Just clear out one more of these creep waves. I feel like they are happy to expend some of these trees inside the base as well.
Hey, they might not know about the Scepter.
More true.
Well, the ward on the high ground here, Coda. Might get some vision. They see BAB. Probably forced to pop the BKB. In fact, they're actually going to think about the fight. Rupture holding the Primal Beast back. He'll try and TP off to the right side, though. Erica is running to the Visage. A big kill to be able to start. There's no follow-up with the Static Storm. Vici Gaming. Another good sequence of event coming out for Dire.
It is, and it was all without the Tiny as well. He was defending mid, and he's got a Daedalus now as well, so some of this surprise damage is really going to ramp up with Erica. Still half the duration left on that Metamorphosis. He's going to continue hitting into this tower. That's not going to cause a glyph refresh. They might keep going.
Top tower has fallen.
Oh, he was in two minds. He wanted to. He wanted to. They know still that burst potential in Requiem into another one. And he's even got the Timeless Relic. I mean, I was talking about the Ceremonial Robe before, but that's even better.
You see comparison between both the mid laners at the moment. A lot of damage dealt from GPK early. Speaking about GPK, let's see what the tree volley crits if it's going to be enough. GPK pops the cheese. The rest of VP is starting to connect to bottom, and GPK just shoves in. Look at the damage with the Requiem. It was a nice attempt from Vici, but they just weren't lucky enough with the crits.
Frisk was sticking around for a second, considering, well, do I look to try and defend one more wave? They're not going to do it, but someone needs to get back and defend this. It's going to be DM for now, but it means that they're without all of those juicy auras, the Assault Cuirass, the armor corruption from the Visage and the Familiars to these towers, and Shadow Fiend hasn't gone. Presence of the Dark Lord affects buildings. Their own sheep.
Erica's got a Hex. Huh.
If they're able to pick off GPK, I think you're very happy with that. You're going to need to be real quick on your fingers, though. Very early pop of the glyph, too. Maybe just trying to bait out VP to feel a little bit more confident. They might go for the full-on backstab, but
let's see.
Got to keep Ramses away for now.
25 seconds on Roche on the Aegis. Ramses is going to pop the BKB early. He will not have it for this next fight. They've already smoked from Vici, so the catch-up's going to be difficult from them.
Just putting that seed of doubt in his mind, you know, like, oh, should I have done that? They want to make it so that they're able to much more consistently fight as well. Going into the Demon Zeal next on the Terrorblade. He feels like these are the items that he wants to end the game with. Of course, the Refresher Orb as well.
Even take a look at GPK's A on this now. This kind of nullifies the recent pickup from Erica, because Vici were playing off the back of just blowing up the Shadow Fiend if he was the first one there. Of course, Erica could try and use it on Ramses instead, but now if you see GPK first, you will not be able to get that effectiveness out of the Hex.
They do still have space to scale, for sure, on Virtus.Pro's side. I wonder if they are going to go a little bit more into the damage aspect, or if they're going to leave it all to the Terrorblade. BAB, this time around, the level 20 talent, it's not the easiest choice, right? I mean, maybe the uproar armor per stack, but as long as the Bloodseeker's on top of you, he doesn't really care. He's just all about getting as many right clicks in and using the Aghanim Shard for that damage purpose. But certainly does help against the Visage and the Marcy.
I think kind of the real big issue is like, do you feel like Terrorblade, he's top of the net worth, but you see no one else on Vici Gaming is close by in regards to gold? Is this a game? Because there are some games where a carry can be so far ahead and his teammates are nowhere near that he can 1v5. Is this a game where Erica can put Vici Gaming in the backpack?
He can, but I feel like if VP have any semblance of a good initiation, it's just not going to happen, right? Because you've got the Ag Static Storm, you've got the Shadow Fiend with the Arcane Blink level 25 Requiem with a Sheepstick and a Refresher, right? So what are you meant to do against that?
There it is! Yakota! The perfect Static Storm! They baited the Familiars! They're even going to get the Terrorblade as well, who doesn't have a buyback! What a jump from Virtus.Pro. Yakota was ready and waiting.
Yes, they was. And, well, how close are they to the buyback? 310 gold. I mean, if the bottom lane's able to push in, maybe they get a little bit of this gold from the creeps. Someone might be considering TPing back, GPK in particular, but he's refreshed. He wants to be able to come back in and pick someone else off as they go for this push. 50 seconds. Ping's coming back. Doesn't look like anyone wants to commit fully with this, though. There's the rain racks down.
It's got a big wave, yeah. With the catapult coming through, you kind of have to go address that. Oh, he's got a timeless relic on GPK. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you were saying before he got lucky with the ceremonial robe, and now he's even got a better one. Uh-oh.
It's going to get even more dangerous, right? He's almost level 28, and he will have that Presence Aura effects building, so it's going to mean even faster push coming through. Doesn't even need to fully commit his body. You can even start to do a little bit more of the poke, because someone needs to deal with the Familiars that have the sidekick on them and the AC Aura, and if you've got that Presence Aura onto the buildings, then if someone moves forward, that's the prime time to get that Arcane Blink, BKB, Requiem, and just annihilate someone on Vici Gaming. 30k net worth lead, win probability at 5%. I can see it. There is a small possibility, but Vici, they just can't be getting caught out on the TB at the start like this. They've got to find the disruptor.
Yeah, there's a small possibility, but they need vision to play with, and they just don't have that at the moment on Vici Gaming. Even though they've got the gem, just full map control from VP makes it so difficult for Dire to even have an opening where they can get the jump when maybe Virtus.Pro aren't completely grouped up as 5.
I mean, Erica's doing his best. He's trying to keep this bottom lane pushed in, cause them to worry about something else, but they've essentially been suffering from what I feel have been a lot of teams undoing so far throughout these qualifiers. You know, in the early game, the Lich, the Earthshaker, they weren't able to really patrol around the map quite as much as the Marcy was. You know, he was able to get so much deep vision down on Yamich. He was able to be influencing a lot of these early team fights and have a much higher level of effectiveness just with his ultimate. You really don't get enabled with the Echo Slam on the Shaker until you've got that Blink Dagger available.
Do we feel like... Can Vici Gaming contest this next Roche, or are they at a stage where they just need to be thinking about high ground defense? Can they take a fight when Virtus.Pro have second life?
What level's XM? Okay, so he's gone the damage route. I think if that's the case, you've got to go for Roche when they're much more likely to be fully clumped up, and that's when you can get the damage coming through from that Daedalus and from that talent choice that you went for. If it was the high ground defense, I would have wanted to see that toss has no target talent chosen, and then you can, you know, try and go for the toss back, disrupt them underneath the tier 4 towers, and maybe get a pick off turning your way like that.
It's going to take quite some time, but we saw what the Wind Waker was able to do for them in game 2, for Virtus.Pro in particular. And XM, he's going down this route, so not really a build that synergizes too well. Well, I should say not really an item that synergizes too well with his build, but was it required with the status of this game? Again, it's one of the most expensive items, so...
Yeah, I mean, he just wants to be able to pop that BKB and save the TB. He knows how important it is. If he's able to get that Wind Waker save off, plenty of time to be able to pop the BKB, the Satanic, the Sunder. So many options for Erica to still have influence here, and, well, he's influencing that bottom lane for sure. VP are like, come on, how is Roche still not up? We need to claim this before we're forced back too much, and, well, that's exactly where GPK has to go. All the way back to base just to deal with what a single illusion's able to do.
See how hesitant Vici are as well, going for the familiars. Just a little bit of PTSD of what happened last time with DM just baiting them inside the base. But VP, they're not playing with them at the moment, and that's kind of some of the issues that can occur when you lose a big team fight like that prior. Now, you show a little bit more respect to the Visage. And this is a hero that cannot be left alone, and more Vici Gaming, they're going to smoke his 5. Let's see the angle into this team fight.
GPK really not wanting to reveal his position. He wants to be able to rejoin his teammates as quickly as possible. He knows that Roche is up, and, well, he's got that Boots of Travel available. Bottom lane's in a decent enough spot.
Roche is up. Smoke as well from Virtus.Pro.
They've got the scan.
They're going to run into Yamich first. He can blink away. Beautifully done. Vision's going to be laid down, but Virtus.Pro, they're not nearby, and Roche is falling.
Rock throw.
Yamich's going to try and jump in once again, looking to try and provide the vision, but Roche, it's been claimed already. Erica's in, Meta's out, but the Static Storm, there's no way to lock them into place. Vici Gaming got to look to reposition to Radiant's triangle. They need a high ground to fight around, but Radiant, they've got full vision of the area. They know exactly where they're looking to play. It's Erica, tossed back into the middle, but they haven't got the damage at the moment to deal with the Terror Blade. They're avoiding him at all costs. Looking to kite to the left side as Dian's falling low. A use of the Aghanim Shard's going to keep him alive for the moment, but Erica, it just turns to deal with the Bloodseeker instead. It's Ramses. He can't right-click anyone. And Bash finally coming out the last second as Erica, the Sunder, he needs a target, but the Bashes left, right, and center coming out for the Bloodseeker will put a stop to that attempt from Vici Gaming. They got close to being able to kill off the Bloodseeker, but they just didn't have the damage in the tank.
Yeah, they got the one life
they're still sticking around. Yamich, though, look at the tree volley. Yokota tries to jump in as well. No one else is nearby from Virtus.Pro, so both supports are going to go down. But can they get out with their own lives here on Vici Gaming? As GPK is going to jump into the middle. Aeon is protecting Frisk for the moment. It's going to look to path his way through the tree line and get the blink out. Off to the other side, though, Yang does go down. Oh, they're not even done at Frisk. Chakota, beautifully done. The Glimpse catching up Frisk. They don't have a buyback here on the Earthshaker as well as Virtus.Pro. They can just walk it down and claim the series now.
They can indeed. No buybacks on 3 heroes. You're going to need to commit it on the Terrorblade. Oh, man. It's going to be him against the world. It's going to need to be maybe a little bit too deep of a dive, VP. They're going to just look to rally around, not wanting to get caught out with those tosses back. And, well, he's standing off to the side. Hakoda
they
again.
See him. And he pop refresher as well in case there's anyone else that wants to face check the fight.
He's found him
drop
as well.
down the
Hakoda.
second one off the left side. He sees the Terrorblade. They've got the vision. A dieback on area. The G's are dropped. And Virtus.Pro will move on forward. A different smiley face this time from Yarmouth, as they will be able to knock Vici Gaming down to the lower bracket.
It's gotta be. I'm an advocate for the support MVPs. This has to be Hakoda. So many team fights influenced by him. Very good reason why you're going to give him the Aghanim Scepter from that third Roche. And, well, GPK, he's getting a lot of the love, but come on. The support sometimes needs supporting too, because I don't think VP win that game without some of those efforts coming through from their POS 4 and the POS 5.
No, without a doubt. I mean, you take yourselves back to game 1 as well for Virtus.Pro. It was a really shocking defeat. Shocking, probably not the right way to put it. Vici Gaming convincing victory from them in game 1. And we saw Virtus.Pro tap out and where, again, GPK, I'll say it. You jumped in, he died with a blink dagger, caught GG in the middle of the fight, and then it felt like Virtus.Pro just maybe some issues were going on there. That's where they started the comeback from game 1 though. They brought some, a little bit of edge into game 2 with some ore chatting. This is what we've said a lot with this team. They are someone that play with a lot of confidence. The voice lines are going, the tips are going, and sometimes the ore chat's there when they have the lead. And for Virtus.Pro to be able to take this series, which was a difficult series as well,